Hello my love, today I'm here to share with you one way that I like to work with soul cards 1 and 2. Now there are several ways that we can work with these decks, but I want to share one specific way with you. First, I would like to start by sharing why I decided to bring these decks to my collection. Well, so I already shared here before, but I went through throughout my life. I had 3 moments. I had depression and deep sadness, and they were all moments of transition. And when I was there crossing a threshold in between someone that I was and that I could not be anymore. So it was almost like allowing a part of me to die. The third time happened like in between 2022 2024. And there I was like, oh, it would be so nice if I could have some decks to go through this period of time that would help me. And then I thought about the soul cards. I said, and I'll explain why I thought about them. Oh, they would be great for that. But I just postponed. I was always postponing. And I ended up not buying these decks when I was in that dark moment, because every period of transition, it's a deep transition, guys. When you're crossing the threshold, there's a moment of darkness, like it or not. We have to go into the darkness so that we can come back with our vessel expanded, or even a brand new vessel, right? So when I was going through that period of darkness, I noticed that something that I would feel, and I'm sharing because maybe you can say, oh, I already felt like that, I'm feeling like that, or if one day in the future you feel like that, you can come back to this video. But I would see that I would feel like the world was ugly. The world is ugly. And we know that we are part of the world. So when we think that the world is ugly, we are thinking that we are ugly as well. That's what I realized. And that's the reason why I decided to add the soul cards to my collection. Because I thought that, okay, in a moment when I'm feeling like I am super ugly, I thought that looking at these ugly characters here, because I don't know if they are people, to be honest, I don't know if they are from another planet, but looking at them, working with them would help me. Because they are ugly. Sorry guys, okay, I'm not trying to be offensive with this artwork. I think this artwork is wonderful and beautiful in an not regular way, okay? Not like the standard beauty. It's not like, I don't know, the Tarot of Aphrodite. It's not like that, right? It's a different kind of artwork. But looking at them, and when I started working with them, I noticed that it would allow me to develop some kind of self-love and self-compassion. They're ugly, but they're real. I am ugly, but I'm real, you know. They are ugly, but they have feelings. I am ugly, but I have feelings. The world's ugly, but it's beautiful. So looking at them and allowing myself to see beauty in the ugliness. This deck's fantastic. And then, in my opinion, actually, you don't need the soul cards too. If I would come back in time, I would just stay with the soul cards 1, to be honest. Why did I buy the soul cards 2? It was because I liked the soul cards 1 so much, and I saw somebody mentioning somewhere on the internet, I read, that the soul cards 1 was more like something spiritual, and the soul cards 1 more something more mundane, something like that. And I bought both of them, and that's how I work with them. But if you have only the soul cards 1 or only the soul cards 2, you can work with them this way as well, as this way that I'm going to share with you. Or if you have another deck, you can do what I'm going to share with any deck, okay? So I was trained, initiated in Kabbalah, right? Kabbalah wisdom. And then this principle that I'm going to share here is the principle of the 99%, we say in a more modern way, 99% and 1%. So in Kabbalah, we talk about the tree of life as a cosmologic vision, as a way to understand this world and to understand spirituality and our relationship with the divine, let's say. The tree of life is studied in so many philosophies, and we can work with tarot and tree of life and use the tree of life as a kind of a diagram for so many things in our lives. And when we think about the tree of life, there are the 10 sephiroths that we talk about. And so we are going to have the 9 sephiroths, and the last sephiroth at the bottom is called Malhut, or the kingdom. That is the material world. It is where we live. And then when you think about the 99% and 1%, so the 99% is the reality, is the spiritual reality, is where everything that is real is. And the 1% is the material world, because we live here, well, we live according to the 5 senses. So I'm here talking to you, I have no idea what's going on in another house here. I only know what's going on here. I only can see, I have a limited vision and so on. I only can hear what is around me. So the 5 senses, it's the 1%. So we don't know everything. We don't know what's going on. There's some kind of veil that separates us from the 99%. But the idea is, if we want to have some deep transformation in our lives, we are going to work in the 99%. Working only in the 1% is going to make whatever we want to transform or work on very limited, because the material world is limited. It's wonderful, it's the kingdom. It's not a horrible place, it's the kingdom. It's where we have the opportunity to be co-creators, right? But if you want a deep transformation, if you want to work in something a deeper level, you must go to the 99% or the spiritual realm. And we have this kind of the 99, so the 99 is reflected here in the 1% and vice versa. So we can work in something here, transform something in the 99, we can work in something in the 99 and definitely transform here in the 1%. So when I work with the soul cards, I like to go with some question in mind, more meaning issue, I think, some subject. And then I'll go to my soul cards 1. Again, you can use just soul cards 1 or just soul cards 2 or any other deck for this. So I'm going to shuffle. And let's say, I'll not make a question, but something that I want to understand here, or you want to understand. So feel free to make this reading, or it's going to be just a reflection, just a demonstration here. So I'm going to ask to understand whatever it is. Think whatever you want to understand. Here in the 1%. And then I go to the soul cards 2. And I'm going to ask to understand the same issue or subject in the 99%. Here. So when it comes to the 1%, we can see this person here. Maybe she's waiting. Maybe she's waiting while the roots, they are growing to the land. So maybe she planted something and she has to be patient now. But she doesn't look that excited. Maybe she's a little bored. Maybe you are asking yourself about everything you have been planting in your life, everything that you have been doing, everything that you have been working so hard to see in your life, and that's still not there. And sometimes that happens because we forget that everything that has deeper roots is going to grow even. Everything, all trees that have deeper roots, they're going to grow taller. But we don't have that patience sometimes. And you see that these roots, they are red, so they can be connected to the root chakra. We are seeing them manifesting in the material world, and you have some green around it, connected to our heart chakra as well. So maybe it's something that you have been working so hard for, and it's been hard to wait. So when you think about the card, the It's going to be in the 99% for the same issue, the same subject. What is she telling us? She's telling us about some kind of transmission. You see here, we are not alone anymore. There's something going on. Sometimes I think like this character here, it's you, it's me, it's us. And here is the higher self. The higher self may be telling you, there's something going on. There's something growing. And look how the colors here, they are a little reddish, like the ones that we have here in the roots. Let me have both of them here. So while I'm here being patient in the 1%, what should I do in the 99%? We should be in connection with my higher self, or my true self, or my inner wisdom, or my inner guidance, to understand what's going on. What can I do now while I'm waiting? And another deck that I like to work with, this one, because guys, it's super cute, it's beautiful, but they are ugly as well. It is the Reclaim Oracle. And sometimes I like to go there and just draw some card to understand the emotional aspect of what we are living here. And we have here defeat. So maybe I can tell you that this person seems to be feeling like defeat. And then we are going to be invited to stop feeling that we are defeated and start understanding that we are, look, she feels defeated, but she is climbing upstairs. And that's another thing about the tree of life. We are climbing the tree of life. So it's the invitation to understand that even though you feel defeated, you are climbing the tree of life. And it's important as well, I would like to mention here, that even when we think about climbing the tree of life, you may think, okay, I've been doing all my spiritual work, I've been growing, I've been doing my best, and then it feels like I fell into darkness again. Right? For example, for me, I've been living spirituality since I was born and doing this every day as a work and guiding other people in this work since 2013. So why is it happening? I could say, why is it happening again, like in 2022? And the reason was, we have one tree on top of another tree. And when we are at Keter, which is the crown, and we are about to climb into the next tree, we are going to fall in Malhut again, at the base of the tree again. So it feels like we are falling, but we are falling at the base of the next tree. All that to say that you are going to go through periods of challenge. We will go through periods of challenge in our lives, but it means that we are falling to go even higher. That's not something to defeat us. It's not something to feel like you are failing or something like that. Take care, be aware, because yes, the mind will try to play that game. You are failing, you're not failing. You are falling at the base of the next Malhut, in the next tree of life. I'm looking forward to hear your thoughts on this way to work with the soul cards 1 and 2. If you have any questions, please leave for me the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you for being here, my dear. I'm always sending you lots of love. Thank you for your presence.